On this episode of The Third Wheel at Night, me and Darcy go deeper than we've ever gone before. Tough topics only here today. Would you trust to wear what your husband suggests? Find out now. Smooth transition.
Welcome to Third Wheel Podcast.
At night.
I'm Darcy.
And I'm Caleb.
And we're going to be continuing our judgment of Facebook posts.
I like that. I like how you put it. All right, Darcy. I'm sick of you giving the snazzy intro every time. Okay.
You want to silence that?
Yeah, sorry.
God.
My phone's going off. Like, oh, okay.
You just leave it on in church, too?
I do, actually. Everyone looks at me. Then they talk about getting rid of me.
You look like someone that doesn't silence their phones at church.
That's messed up. All right, it's my turn for the intro this time. Okay, so I got it all written down and planned out. I am happily married. This is your line, Darcy. You say, not to me.
But you're not married at all.
Well, thanks for really throwing that out there. Okay, my husband Paul and I have a very great marriage. However, I find it hard to connect with other Christian couples.
Did you actually write this down?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm improvising.
Well, you're holding your phone like you're reading it, but nobody's watching besides me. Like they don't see you improving holding your phone.
It fooled you though, didn't it? Okay. So I joined this Facebook group for other Christian couples in order to see if I could connect with others better. Because I have trouble connecting with other Christians, mainly due to the fact that, I have a very troubled past, okay? And, the other couples that I interact with, they, waited until marriage to kiss, and they pray before intimacy and all these other things. So I have trouble connecting with those
They're
people.
They're spanking for Jesus.
Oh, I told you not to bring that up. I have one condition, Darcy, for this show. And it was that you not bring that up.
You just laid it out too perfectly.
And so as I joined these Facebook groups, I read some very foul things. And that's what we're going to go over today. The other disclaimer is the fact that I tend to laugh really hard at some of these posts, even though they're very tragic. Mainly because I think of something funny to say, or I just get all giggly when Darcy narrates it for me. So if I laugh as there's a very tragic story unfolding, then just please walk in love with me. Give me grace and mercy, okay? Because I got a messed up sense of humor sometimes. And I do apologize for episode 5. I forgot to blank out one curse word. So, forgive me. I will do better about that in the future as the show grows. Yeah. With that being said, what's on the agenda for today?
We have a couple different things, but I do have a question.
Oh.
I asked Paul this question the other day, and we were going back and forth.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah.
Because I always have a bad answer that you hate.
It's about toes. No, I'm just kidding. So...
My favorite. Not the whole foot, just toes.
Oh. Do I need to cover up my sock that has a hole in my
I would
toe?
never... I don't like what you're
see it?
implying. What's your question?
Okay. So, cheating. Do you think if the girl cheats on the guy, it's easier for the guy to get over? Or if the guy cheats on the girl, it's easier for the girl to get over?
Okay. We're just saying easier.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with it's easier to get over a girl cheating.
Really?
That's coming from a guy's perspective. The women hold on to that forever. It's crazy.
But I see a lot of women stick around after men cheat. And
Sure.
like for women, at least majority-wise, whenever men cheat, a lot of times it can be like a momentary like weakness where they gave in, whereas in women are like emotional cheaters. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that would make it harder for a guy is knowing like, she wasn't satisfied and she went off on her own to like go through this whole process of finding someone.
Is it bad to admit what I would do in that scenario?
No.
Okay, you don't think it would hurt any potential prospects? You know who you are. Yes, I am dating a fan.
I mean, I've told Paul, like, you cheat once, I'm out, so I don't know. It's really up to
What
whoever.
if I were to admit that I would stick around if she had cheated?
I don't know. That's up to you.
I don't know either, because like I think it just depends on the person. Then
Yeah.
really, honestly, it just depends on the person. I feel like from a guy's perspective, it's easier.
So, like, if it was with me, would you get over it? Coming for you, woman.
Like my girlfriend cheated
Yeah.
on me to you.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird. I don't know what to feel. I don't know. Ugh. It'd be weird. I don't know. I don't like this conversation thread. I don't even want to think about it.
Or what if it was like your brother or something?
I'd forgive. That was quick. I'd move on. Took me a second. It was just the initial question that
If it was
threw me
like
off.
Micah or something.
Ooh, that'd be harder to forgive.
Yeah. Family's harder than best friend.
That's gonna be an awkward Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Every time she opens a present from my brother, I'd be like, you know what I mean? It's like socks, and I'm like, oh, you son of a gun. I don't believe it. So I don't know. I probably just dodged your question.
No, you said you felt like it'd be easier for a man to get over a woman cheating.
Because women have that thought where it's like, you know, do you love her? Guys don't care as much, I don't think. It's a physical thing. It's like, okay, they were attracted to each other. Women, if a guy cheats, they're like, you know, that it's going to come up. Do you love her?
Right.
Do you love
was
her
she
instead of
skinnier
me?
than me?
Right.
Did you know?
Yes.
Was it better than whenever we did stuff? Yeah.
Guys just punch.
That was
stuff
my
out.
first. That was my first question to that guy I was dating. Was
Really, you asked him that? Mm-hmm. I finally made the cut, guys. It only take three years. She asked me the personal questions. I hate this chair.
No,
so
I didn't
much.
ask him that question.
Okay.
Whenever he cheated, I asked him if it was better than whenever he did it with me.
Right, and that's
And I
how y'all
pressured
feel.
him into it. He was going, and I was like, tell me,
Yeah.
you know, because he always like, in order to like keep me around, he always like verbally like degraded me and made me feel like
And so that's-
trash.
that's not even
and
a
that was
thought.
one of the things that he would like trash on. And so I was like, oh, was she, you know, this way?
But
And
see,
so finally he said yes, but she wasn't better. And I was like,
as a guy, like my first initial thought isn't even that. Like, oh my god, you know, was he better? Was she better? I probably wouldn't even ask if it was a she. You know, was she better? Because I know she wasn't. So I don't know. I don't think that bugs me as much, the emotional connection. I don't know.
have you been cheated on before that you know of?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
I want to say my last girlfriend before who I'm talking to now was close. It was close. I like the day after she texted me, it's over. I shouldn't be dating right now. She was like already talking to another guy the same exact way she was talking to me. That
Okay.
doesn't technically count as cheating because there was no overlap. But I mean, it felt like it. I swear,
Right.
it was like right there, and that's what was so devastating.
Okay.
But
Just
so
curious.
no,
I had another question at some point, but I forgot what it was. So I guess we'll just read the post.
thank goodness. All right, back to our normally scheduled programming. I don't feel awkward anymore. I am drinking coffee at night. I don't know if you can tell if I'm lying or not, but it's definitely 4 a.m, which isn't night either. So I'm just an idiot. Please enjoy.
Okay.
I'm gonna clap again just for fun. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So, anonymous participant.
Anon. I'm gonna make an Anon button.
Okay.
Anon. I'm waiting.
Okay.
What does Anon
never
have to
mind.
say?
I'm sorry. It's not the post. It was. I was just making sure the comments were as funny as I remembered, and I scrolled
they are.
and saw them. Yeah.
You probably saw the first one. And was like,
there's some. Yeah.
okay, all right. Well, go ahead.
So it says, all right, my wife and I are in our mid 30s coming up on our 15-year anniversary. This last year has been hard with the death of our parent. Our kids are no longer toddlers, and our life has hit a new phase. She is very feisty and spunky. I love this about her. I love romance. Like, I love to make surprise picnics, memory books, dance, have fun, playing games, etc. This does nothing for her.
Wait, hold on a second. So he's talking about his wife.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how much fun he's having as she's getting older.
Yeah.
Right? But she feels the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Continue.
I am also what I feel as a gentleman and don't like advancing on my wife without feeling like she wants it. But maybe I need to rethink what a gentleman is. We have been missing each other in this dance. She wants me to pursue her, like almost in this bad boy way, which is not me. I'm a bit more passive and laid back. She is beautiful, but I've been holding myself back from saying anything sexual to her. But this is what she wants. I don't know how to do this, though. And she views me not saying and really hitting on her hard as me not thinking she is beautiful and that I am creepy.
Okay, this guy, Anon, he's all over the place with this one.
I feel like she wants me to advance on her strongly, just not in words, but in actions. She wants sex bad. She wants me to pursue her in it. How do I do this? What are some pickup lines for this? How do I pursue her in a way she feels my genuine love I have for her? I have this fear of just laying her down because I don't want to make her feel like a toy. I love her lots, and that's not how I feel. Any books anyone could recommend?
This is going to be really tough. Okay. Because I definitely do not have a very Christian opinion right now. Okay.
We also don't advertise. What are you doing?
I'm trying to make sure, because you got to scroll, don't you?
All right, so you go from this one to this one.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Sorry about that. I'll try to be better about
see you
scrolling.
Scrolling through five of them.
I did not do that. I scrolled one over to see.
Well, I have them all in a special folder.
Good.
So you're not going to accidentally see anything.
Thank God. I would cry, okay, if I saw some toes. All right. Can you not? And that's one toe. Thank you. All right. Should I even try to break it down? I feel like I get the gist of it. It just gets kind of confusing.
In the gist of it, it sounds like they have different love languages.
Yeah.
Where his is like gifts and quality time, whereas in hers may be physical touch and words of affirmation. And she sounds a bit kinkier.
Yes.
Which is where she's not being satisfied.
Okay, so can we touch a little bit on them changing as the marriage has gone on? So
does it say that things have changed?
15 years anniversary. This last year has been hard. Okay, so it says, with the death of a parent, our kids are no longer toddlers and our life has hit a new phase. Okay, so new phase. How do you feel about such a drastic change after 15 years? Because it's usually the opposite direction, where the woman is less inclined to do stuff for her husband. She's less fun as time goes on. And I'm sure her husband as well. I don't mean to be sexist here. Both people should, at this point, in theory, wind down. You know what I'm saying?
And they said they've been married for 15 years. Did it say how old they are?
It says they're in their mid-30s. So they got married at 20 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're not very old for having been married 15 years.
So, and they're not 30,
right?
You know, because then they'd be 15 when they got married. And that would be a whole different conversation here. What do you think, them changing so much after all this time?
Everyone changes over time.
Sure. But it feels like a 180, at least the way he describes it.
A lot of people are not going to be the same whenever you first get married. A lot of people are going to be way different, and it's either going to be for the better or worse. You know, you see people where they give up trying, where they don't pursue as hard. And then you see kind of like what's happening with me and Paul right now, where we're constantly improving, and I'm becoming more purposeful, more thoughtful, more giving. You know, he's pushing himself harder to go to work and do all these extra things so that I can eventually be a stay-at-home mom, when in the beginning it was hard to even get him to go into work for his whole work week without calling in or missing or what have you. So you're always going to have kind of a 180 from when you first met, but sometimes...
This seems a lot worse, though, because she's not winding down, changing in a way where she's more relaxed. It's almost like she wants to either and forgive me for saying this, recapture her hoe phase, or what's a better way to say it?
It does make me feel like she has had some experiences beforehand, because that's been the struggle between me and Paul, because he wasn't really with anybody before me, and then with my crazy past, I've had a lot of experiences, and so it's like I'm constantly wanting to try new things and do different stuff, and he gets uncomfortable with some of it and doesn't want to as much, or doesn't think about it as much, or, you know.
It sounds like that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think she's trying to recapture, like, a phase she was going through. I think she's maybe trying to recapture the initial spark, where maybe she's starting to get bored. And so she's trying to liven it up, spark, you know, get it re-going, because like after 15 years it can be like you're gonna need to start getting creative, you know, like you can't just be doing the same old stuff all the time. And maybe before it was enough for her and she was satisfied, but now she's bored, it's the same position, it's the same 10-minute timer of this. It's, she knows what to do before he even tells her what to do because it's the same thing every time. And now she's wanting to experiment and have things be more exciting. And to him, it's sudden, but for her, she's been doing a lot of the same stuff for the last 15 years.
That's one thing I will say was this didn't come out of nowhere, Anon.
Right.
Maybe you didn't notice the signals. Maybe you didn't pick up on stuff. Maybe you didn't know. You got married 18, 19, 20 years old, it sounds like. 21, 22. You don't know who you are yet. That's unfortunate for you. You're at a little bit of a disadvantage here. So, I will admit, I'm going to put it this way. You're a cucumber, and she wants you to be a pickle. Okay? She wants to pickle you, make you a little bit more spicy and flavorful, if you know what I mean. Okay? Okay. The other thing I'm going to say here. Okay? This isn't an analogy. This is a real thing I'm going to say. We are a little out of my league, if I'm being honest with you. As you can tell just by looking at me, I'm not the bad boy type here. I don't claim to be the bad boy persona. You know what I mean? I like comic books. I go to Comic-Con. I took a picture once with the girl from Star Wars. Which one, you ask? Gina Carano. Yeah, there we go. I didn't make that up. Okay. She's actually really friendly. But I'm not the bad boy type. Okay. So for you and I would start with buying new clothes. I'm willing to bet that how I look today, ridiculous. I actually think you probably dress like this all the time. What do you think? He sounds like if he's playing board games and he's expecting that to rub her rhubarb a certain way.
So you're talking about like getting new clothes that kind of like the woman's version of doing her hair and makeup type of thing to make herself feel more confident?
Right. So This is a little bit extreme though. Okay. I'll admit this, Anon. Okay. I actually think you should go out and get a tattoo. Okay. Nothing crazy. Don't get you a sleeve yet. Okay. You know, to see how you feel. But pick a prime spot and get you something real quick. Something not nerdy. Okay. Get you something American traditional. Get you a skull, a heart on fire, something stupid, you know. I wouldn't recommend you run out and get a tattoo, but what you need to do is upgrade your wardrobe. You need to ditch the button-up shirts. If you insist, though, you need to get you something solid colored, long sleeves, and then roll up the sleeves. Get you a clean pair of jeans, brand new, basically. Make sure they're not too. Make sure if you're on the shorter end, make sure they're not longer than your legs. Get them hemmed. Okay. You need to make sure you don't roll them up. Anon, I'm trying to help you here. This is practical stuff. You need to look the part. You need to feel the part. Okay. Quit looking at me like that.
You want to go any more specific?
Look, this is stuff I had to learn. You can't teach this. You have to. Look, just do what I say. Don't listen to her. Her husband knew 5 chords on the guitar, and she fell in love. Okay?
Oh my gosh!
I don't recommend you go out and take guitar lessons, but it doesn't hurt. Okay? Don't learn piano, kick it, because this is how they picture every piano player. Okay. I do not recommend. Learn how to play the drums. Women love a guy who plays the drums. Okay. Anyway, get you some t-shirts. Okay. Goodfellow t-shirts from Target.
Would you just drop it?
What? I'm giving him good stuff.
You went into the t-shirts.
We lost that footage.
No, just now, like 10 seconds ago.
No. I said do the button-ups. Okay. Do the button-ups and long sleeves, roll them up. Make sure it's a solid color. Get you some Goodfellow t-shirts from Target. Clean jeans. Nice shoes, okay? If you can, depending on where you live, if you're in Minnesota, do not get boots. If you live closer to Texas, where we're at, get you some boots, okay? The other thing I'd recommend is being a little bit more assertive with your personality. What does that mean, you ask? Thank you for asking, Anon. When you come home, instead of saying, hey, honey, do you mind if I give you a kiss on the nose? You need to start being a little bit more assertive here, okay? When her back's towards you while she's cooking, you need to get behind her and put your arms around her waist and just give her a nice firm hug. Okay. Let me know if I'm too off. If I'm too off here, Darcy. Okay. But this is very personal to me because this is something you have to work at and you got to practice with. Okay. Don't come in with these weird pickup lines. Okay. Don't start trying to talk like a bad boy because it's not going to happen. You need to be forceful. That's the wrong word. Don't be forceful.
Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see. Yeah.
Oh. Exactly. Don't do that. All right. You need to be assertive. You don't try to talk assertive because it's not going to happen, buddy. I'm just going to let you know now. If you start trying to talk weird, if you start trying to talk tough, you're going to look really stupid, and it's going to make her more turned off to you. Okay, you need to be assertive. You need to pick her up and give her a hug. You need to grab her head and give her a kiss. You know what I'm saying? You can't teach that to anybody. You just got to practice, and that's the best advice I can give you here. Again, I'm not the bad boy type. I know what those people look like, but you can be more assertive. You can work on some of your mannerisms. You need to quit saying, I'm sorry, when you accidentally scoot too close to her and bump her. You've been married for 15 years. Okay. It's time to take your property and pick it up. All right. That's all I got. Now tell me I'm wrong.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got, Darcy. If that sounded very rushed, just because it was. So. All right. What do you think, though, Darcy? What can he do practically to be more assertive in a way that comes off like, okay, he's a little bit more of a bad boy type?
Well, my thing too is like when you're trying new things, it can feel very like embarrassing because you don't know what you're doing. But my thing is like that's your wife. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to say the wrong thing in front of her or mess up or say something that turns her off and she's just like, ooh, yeah. Don't say that.
Right. You've made it 15 years.
Right.
Okay, like no cheesy pickup line you say now is going to like, okay, I'm divorcing you.
Right. You know, like you guys have shared some of your deepest, darkest moments together. So if you do something that's embarrassing, like y'all should be able to laugh about it together and learn from it and see what exactly she's wanting. And I would say ask on specifics on things she's wanting to try out. That's different. You know, like maybe she can really paint the picture in your head for what she's desiring. And if she already has, then just start working up to those things and allow yourself to feel uncomfortable, allow yourself to feel embarrassed. Now, I'm not saying like force yourself to be somebody you're not, but you're going to be, I mean, think about when you lose your virginity, you know what I mean? Like you're not comfortable. At least for the woman's side, you're not. I don't know if men just don't even think about it and they're just like, yeah, I'm losing my virginity.
If you're me, what she's describing is, yes, you will be uncomfortable.
Yeah, okay. So you're uncomfortable, you're a little embarrassed, you're not sure what's normal, how to do things. Right. So like that's the level of uncomfortable I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like go buy something that you would never buy in your wildest imaginations to do, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying like there is an okay amount of uncomfortability for you to pursue.
None. It just takes practice.
Yeah.
The same way I tell people to practice talking to women. It's going to start small stuff. You just got to take baby steps. Don't jump in with a new hairstyle. Don't go off and get a tattoo sleeve. Don't buy $800 worth of the wrong clothing because you're not sure yet what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to get it overnight. Okay. So something you got to practice. It's going to be awkward at first, like Darcy said. Like that. I mean, it's true. It's the same thing. You just got to practice. Okay.
Yeah. And being more assertive, like you're not like needing to, what's the word for it? Degrade her. You know, like you're not coming up in there being like, oh, come here, you B word. Come, you know, do this and da-da. Like, no, like just, you know, be more purposeful with your touch instead of doing light tickly touches, like grab her, you know. It doesn't have to be some super extreme thing and just see where the comfort levels are for both of you.
I agree.
And what she enjoys.
Yeah.
So.
Another way to put it, assertiveness also, I would say, looks like confidence.
Yeah.
Okay. Some might say you're not being assertive if you open the door for somebody. I would say it almost, not quite. Okay, there's a line. I would almost say, though, it doesn't matter necessarily what you do as long as you do it confidently.
Yeah.
Okay. The girl I'm talking to now, it's a little bit of an adjustment for me to open the door for her because she's not used to it. But instead of being like, I don't know, I just saw my dad do it, you know, like awkwardly, I said, this is what I want to do for you. Because I think it's respectful to open the door for you. I think it's honoring to you to open the door. And I was just confident about how I did it. I said, I'm going to open the door for you. And I told her without being a douchebag about it. I didn't say, you know, you're going to do what I say. I said, I would like to open the door for you. Is that okay?
Right.
And I was confident about it. And that's assertiveness in a way without having to be a douchebag about it.
And if you feel too awkward to do it in person, try doing it over text while you're not home. You know, text her throughout the day how excited you are to get home to, you know, take her back to the room, or, you know, as detailed as you want to be. I'm not going to put the details for you, but
say I'm going to give you the biggest hug. I cannot wait to give you a kiss. See, you're not even
I was talking about sex.
I know, but like you can start just like I said, baby steps.
Yeah.
Okay, because like you can't just go from shy to okay, now you're this great big texter now where you're assertive and you're like super like exciting. Baby steps, you know, stuff like that. Start small.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. If you want to take Darcy's route and just go straight into the dirty stuff over text.
Well, he doesn't have to write some explicit text, but just say like, "I can't wait home. I can't wait home. I can't wait till I get home to bring you back to the bedroom."
Yeah.
That's not very explicit. Yeah. You're not dirty talking, but it's something to excite her throughout the day. And then when you get home, like, you know, push her back there. You know, whatever. Like,
it's confidence, Anon.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily being more assertive, even. But it's being.
I don't think she's wanting you to be a douchebag.
No,
you know.
No, but I know it seems like you don't have it in you, but I promise you do. You just got to practice.
Yeah.
The same way you had to work the courage up to ask out your wife initially. Now you need to start working up the courage to be a little bit more confident, and that's just going to take baby steps. You don't like one more time without being a douchebag. You can tell her this is what we're doing. That's gonna go a lot further than you bought a new leather jacket and you're trying to do all these weird pickup lines.
Yeah.
Okay, be a little bit more assertive and confident with what you're going to do.
And I think I'm gonna say one more thing before we move on to the comments, but. The thing with surprising her with picnics, memory books, dance, having fun, playing games, and that doing nothing for her, I don't think that is doing nothing for her. I think she does deeply enjoy that, but because she's feeling lacking in her sexual needs, that's just causing her to feel overall bleh. So I wouldn't stop doing those things. You know, I wouldn't just like quit being romantic and going out of your way for her, because if you cut that out, now, you know...
Here's another thing I'd say. So the picnic thing, instead of doing it on a blanket that you knitted yourself, okay, I would do it on the hood of your car. Like, think about the movies where, like, you got your bike, you know, you got your bike and you're riding.
Have you ever sat on the hood of a car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do it all the time. Women love that stuff.
Mine dents to crap.
Okay. Don't worry about that. Okay. Because you don't care about the rules, Anon. Okay. You're a bad boy now. Okay. You don't care about what it does to your car. You just buy another one. All right. Confidence. Women like that stuff. They act like they don't. Darcy's trying to give me weird looks, but stuff like that works. Instead of, like I said, instead of the blanket your mom made for you and wearing the sweater your mom gave you, do it somewhere a little bit more spicy. Do it somewhere a little bit more dangerous. Do it on a bridge that you know a train's coming any second. Anyway, all right, that's it on that.
So this comment, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a little bit explicit. But basically, she's saying to try BDSM, and I like no, you can't. You can't jump to that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
And like that might be something he's never comfortable with, and that would be fine. You know. Yeah. You don't have to go that extreme with it.
I'm anti-CDD on this podcast. All right. Don't even think about it, Anon. Because if you're as shy as I think you are, that will never work for you, and you will always think it's an uphill battle.
All right. So this is where it gets a little funny. Kimberly, which we've seen her comments before.
Oh, yes, we have.
She gives pretty decent advice most of the time. Every now and then throws some weird stuff in there. She said, I like it when my husband literally pushes me on the bed and tears my clothes off. The caveat here is making sure she's not wearing something expensive or not easily replaceable.
I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable. This is a weird episode for me. Kimberly, I don't think gave you some bad advice. I think that was actually decent encouragement there.
Right.
Was like, you know, hey.
Doesn't have to be that fancy.
No.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And she even said, make sure she's not wearing anything expensive. So.
All right. Moving on to the next post.
Yeah. We got 26 minutes left on this episode.
Okay. So this person said, my husband left me twice.
Ooh.
One. Ooh.
Is this a non?
Yeah.
All right.
Once after 30 years of marriage, and then he came back after 2 months. And again 2 years later. That time he left for 3 years. Both times for the same woman, an old girlfriend. Yeah, this is juicy, right?
Okay. Are you only halfway through it?
Like a third.
I feel like we could already do an episode on this one.
During that time of separation, I became independent and dated, but I continued communicating with him. He paid the mortgage, and we started really communicating. Not like before he left,
How
when there was
independent were you?
little to no communication.
I'm sorry, I'm been interrupting you.
Okay.
Finish.
Long story short, he's back with me, and we have been going to counseling. Things are better between us than they've been in 20 years. I believe my story is unusual and may not be what 90% of the women out there would do, and you can judge me, but I feel good about my decision to get back with him.
Anon, I'm not judging you. Okay, I'm not. I'm really not.
Yeah.
Okay, it's tough. If you let me just start from the beginning. Okay, my husband left me twice. I'm sorry. Feel for you. Okay, I've only been left once by each woman in question. Okay, I would never take him back. So once after 30 years of marriage, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I can understand why she would be like, she's only known her whole life with this guy, especially if she's still
Right.
dating. She's still like only probably like 50 or 48 or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's
Like,
been-
even if they got married at 18,
Yeah,
they've been together 30 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you're approaching 50s.
yeah.
And that's if you got married at, like, 18.
Let me tell you something. And this is what makes me empathize with you a little bit more. Dating sucks at any age. It's awful. People that have those immature tendencies at 18, sometimes it does not get better in your 40s. Okay? I've dated across the whole spectrum. I've dated 18-year-olds. I've dated 35-year-olds, kind of. And I've dated people in their 40s. Never higher than in their 40s. But I tell you what, some of the things that the girl in her 40s did was the same thing an 18-year-old pulled. Okay? Tell me I'm wrong.
No?
Okay. Well, you told us a story not too long ago about a guy in his 30s or 40s that was cheating on his wife with you.
33.
33. Cheating on his wife with you. Age, in that instance, we're talking immaturity level, just immaturity, the maturity aspect of it. Just a number. They can do the same thing that they did at 18 in their 40s. I don't know about past that because that's, again, out of my range there. Okay. My highest was like 44, 45 is what I've dated. I don't think Darcy's dated higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
50.
Really? Okay. So how was he?
Immature.
Immature? So
He had to be immature to be dating a 19-year-old.
that is true. What was he doing? Or not doing?
What do you
How was he treating you? Was he okay? Was he playing games still? Was he still being a dog about it? You know?
He just, like, didn't... He had a daughter that he didn't really care for. He was smoking a lot of weed, and
There you go.
he spent all of his money on weed.
Right.
And it was like,
Okay.
all right, this is ridiculous.
So he's living like he's 21.
Yeah.
At 50.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect explanation.
Okay. So the age thing doesn't matter when it comes to the maturity level. People can be immature at any age. Let me just go ahead and say it like that. Okay. So,
Maybe he was in his 40s. If he was in his 40s, he was in his late 40s, though.
yeah. So, okay. Once after 30 years of marriage, he then came back after 2 months and again 2 years later. So, cheated twice. Or left you twice, really. Abandoned you twice. So, after 30 years, left you, and he came back after 2 months and again 2 years later. So, he left you twice for the same girl. That sucks. An old girlfriend. Okay. I'm sorry, Anon, your husband's an idiot. Okay, so if for 30 years of marriage, assuming you're just in your late 40s, early 50s, he left her for some high school girl he dated.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. I would not go back to any of the 18-year-olds I dated. Any of them. For various reasons. A lot of it immaturity. Some of it I just didn't connect with. But I know that whatever magic, whatever spark was there was fake because they were too young to comprehend what a long-term relationship looked like. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just, it's crazy to me that after 30 years, he went back to an old girlfriend,
From high
And
school,
then-
essentially.
came back, and left again for 3 years for that same
person.
old girlfriend.
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
Right.
That now, this old girlfriend he broke up with in his younger years to go be with his wife, his now wife. And then went back, assuming maybe things have changed and she's matured, and it still didn't work out.
Right.
So you got 2 right there in this 30-year span. Mm-hmm. And then goes again
For years
to come back?
to come back. Okay.
That's wild.
Now, is it ridiculous to where I don't believe you? No. It's ridiculous. Okay. You know, and it's not necessarily with how you're wording it. It's just like, I can understand why why people are like, dude, you need to leave that guy.
Yeah.
But 30 years and that's all you know is that one guy, I can understand the pull to stay with him. You want to make it work with the guy you've been married to for 3 decades, at least. Okay.
Right.
So I don't disagree with you. I definitely don't judge you for your decision. But it's tricky. I don't blame you, Anon. I don't think you're crazy. I empathize with you. I think this is a tough situation. Anyone who blames you in the comments, because I know it's coming, I think don't listen to them. I think you need to. I think you've thought about this a lot more than people are going to give you credit for. Okay. During that time, what?
Sorry, I was just thinking of one of the comments.
During the time of separation, I became independent and dated, but I continued communicating with him. So if you weren't married to him for 30 years, I would say that's a bad idea. I think you should have moved on. Stay independent. Don't keep messaging him. I think that would have been a mistake had you all been younger in your marriage.
Well, I don't think she meant that she went fully independent either, because when you're married that long, you have a lot of things tied together.
Right. Absolutely.
And even if you were to get a full-time job, you're not going to be able to replace his income like that.
Yeah. Because you say here, he paid the mortgage and we started really communicating. So I get it. You're still kind of dependent. You independent in the sense that like you finally probably had moved on to a certain point emotionally and you were like, okay, I can try and start dating again. Okay, so like I said, 30 years of marriage, that's tough. Like you can't just like, okay, I moved on, I'm better now. That's just not how it works. Okay, let's see. Not like before he left when there was no communication. So you started actually improving. It sounds like in a lot of areas too. When you were talking to him again, it sounded like things were getting better. You were talking more than not at all, sounds like that's what it was during the marriage. Long story short, he's back with me and we have been going to counseling. Great. Always recommend counseling, especially if you're trying to work through infidelity. Things are better between us than they've been in 20 years. So you had a great first 10 years, and then 20 years were terrible, and now you're back after he got to have a little bit of fun.
Well, it also depends how long in between. So, like, when he came back the first time, I don't think she said how long they were together before he took off again. So they could have been together another 10 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, lastly, you put a disclaimer in like we do every episode. I believe my story is unusual. May not be what 90% of the women out there would do. And you can judge me, but I feel good about my decision to get back with him. I don't feel wrong about your decision either, for the record. And what do I know? I'm not married yet.
Oh.
All right, Darcy.
Okay.
Well, how do you feel?
I feel a little differently. I mean, if she wants to try to make it work, then good for her. But to have him leave twice is a pretty...
Did I convince you to feel differently about it?
What do you mean?
Were you thinking, oh, you need to leave? And then I went in about like how it was, talked about how it was a long marriage.
No, you didn't convince me any differently.
I don't believe you.
I understand like wanting to try, and I think it's good to do that. And counseling, you could work through it, but I'm just like, this wasn't only a communication issue.
Right.
Which is why they're going to counseling.
Yep.
But like communication gets fixed and all of a sudden you guys get back together. Like there's a lot more deeper issues to this than that.
She said long story short. I know that's a very broad term.
Yeah,
it doesn't cancel everything, but in counseling they've narrowed it down to communication.
Right.
Okay. Yes, is that the whole thing? No. But we could be here. It's either this where she cuts it short for the show, right? Or she goes into hello brothers and sisters in Christ.
That's fair. That's fair.
Shout out to episode 3. All right.
Okay, so if you would like to read the first comment and the last comment.
Am I skipping everything in between?
The ones in between are just, supporting her, being nice,
okay,
all that kind of stuff. Basically what we already went through.
All right.
I want you to read, don't read it first, read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you kiss your husband, do you still taste the other woman's genitals? He says the full-on vag word. Logan, you're a jerk. That is wrong. Okay. I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, I know.
That's messed up.
Dude, I saw that and I was jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, no way.
Don't listen to him and on. Don't read the comments.
That was so rude.
That's horrible. All right. Lastly, Hacker's Den Says, kindly write to me if you're interested in accessing your partner's device without them noticing. Ooh, I like
Right?
that. Okay. Hacker, send me a DM. I got a project for you. Okay, as fun as that sounds,
That's
Anon,
messed up.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're working through this infidelity through your counselor. Adding to it with, okay, now I'm keeping tabs on. I'll know if he cheats on. That's not going to accomplish anything.
Right.
Think about.
It would be different if he, like, if it was both of y'all's idea to set up accountability.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
where you're like,
for
okay, to keep me held accountable, I want us to have each other's locations and check my phone once a week or, you know, something. I don't know. Get him a flip phone or. But like, if y'all decide that together, don't just like secretly, you know.
Don't install spy software.
Go through the Wi-Fi to be able to download all of his deleted texts and, you know, what have you.
There's no fruit in data mining. You're only going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Trust me on this. Okay. As a guy who, when he was 16, was refreshing a Facebook page to see stuff, you know, to see if anything changed, you will drive yourself insane. Okay. As enticing as that sounds, and as much as it may feed insecurity, or it feel enticing to you to where it feels like you can keep tabs on them and trust them more, it does not lead to more trust. It leads to more insecurity and more distrust. And potentially, since this is a Christian page, I can say this: it will lead to more discord. Okay.
You'll be unequally yoked.
No, that is not what that means, Darcy. Okay. You will be bat crap crazy though. So anyway, you have a nice short one we can comment on here.
You want a short one?
I want a short one.
There's this
Editing
page
this is gonna
and then this one.
Okay. Anon, I get to read this one, okay? Because Darcy complains that she never gets to read, and it's just me doing all the talking. Not today, okay? Because she gave me the shortest one possible, okay? Do you wear what your husband suggests?
All right, before we go into anything.
27 answers to this one.
Yeah.
What?
So it'll be easy for you to skip ahead and try to read the questions before we give our initial reaction.
Sure.
So I think we do it kind of like we do the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. A full disclaimer, I'm not her husband. She doesn't wear what I suggest. Okay. So let me just throw that in there. Okay. I am taken. Sort of.
Maybe by the time this one gets oh wait, it's getting posted like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe by the time this one gets posted, who knows?
Yeah, I know. But who knows? All right.
So,
as short as this post was, the short answer is yes.
whenever me and Paul first got together, so pre-Paul, I wasn't living a Christian lifestyle. I was decked out in inappropriate clothing and stuff like that. And Paul was honestly really good about letting me get convicted on my own. He never really mentioned anything. He was really good about not pushing anything. Like, I even had people that I hadn't yet cut out of my old life that I was still friends with on Snapchat and keeping up with and stuff like that. And he never told me to unfriend them or anything. And honestly, like, he rightfully could have. He let me come to that on my own. And I would always ask him questions. I'd be like, so do I need to do this? And he'd be like, yeah, if you, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, okay.
I don't know if that's the same context of do you wear what he suggests.
So there's been times where he never told me to change my outfit. Sometimes he'll make fun of me if, like, it just doesn't go together and looks dumb. But, I mean, I would do the same to him. But there's been a lot of times where I only go clothes shopping with Paul. I won't go on my own because I want him to help me. Because, one, I'm bad at piecing clothes together to begin with. Like, I'm not good about matching this pant to this shirt, and then these pants can also go with 4 other shirts, and, like, doing it that way. And so I always take him with me so he can help me pick stuff out and match things and piece them together. And there's times he, like, brings something up where he's like, ooh, this shirt. And I'm like, no, not that shirt. And he's like, well, try it on. And I'm like, and I try it on, and he's like, I love that shirt. And I'm like, okay. And like I'll end up getting it and I'll end up wearing it and start liking it.
You're
but-
talking about just in a strictly fashion sense then.
No, there's been times he's suggested things to me that like I don't really want to wear.
During intimacy?
No.
I thought that's what this question was asking. Like, hey, put on that outfit you wore back when we first met. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought this was asking.
I think it's asking in general because a lot of women have a problem with their man telling them what they can and can't wear.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Because you don't have a problem with it at all. So this changes the whole, what I thought was where we were going with this. All right. Block that part out.
That's why you looked so lost the whole time. You're like, I think this has nothing to do with it. And I'm like, it's literally what this is about.
Okay, so it's literally fashion sense. Do you wear what he suggests? Okay, well, I took that way off.
Now that you reread it, do you feel a little dumb?
I don't know about dumb. Because look, I am dumb, but I thought it was just pure miscommunication. Maybe a nun from last post was right. It's just a communication thing.
Oh, yeah.
I had cheating urges and now I don't.
But I was always okay with it, especially if it's like we're going out with his friends or his family. Like I want him to let me know if I'm wearing something that they're not going to approve of that would cause them to look down on him because of me. You know what I mean? Like if my shorts are too short, like I want him to feel comfortable, let me know like, hey, you know, this person struggles with looking at women. Would you mind wearing something longer? Or, hey, you know, my parents are, you know, strict about this. Like I want him to let me know and I'll go change.
Okay.
And then if there's something where he suggests like, hey, this would look really good on you, like I'll wear it, you know? And then the thing is like, my husband's the only one I care to impress. He's the only one I care to look attractive to.
A lot of women don't feel that way, though. A lot of women think they still need to be independent. And I say think as in I know the answer. I don't. But a lot of women want to still feel like they can dress how they want to dress because of the my body, my choice thing.
That's not your body, your choice, especially in a Christian relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's one with each other. Mm-hmm. Like your body's not your own and his body's not his own.
See, I'm just
it makes it really clear in the Bible.
I'm just submitting the question here to get your
and women want to have
as
this uppity feminist problem with it.
Because I could say the same thing and not get the same reaction from people because I'm not a woman. So
well, I'm sure I'll get told I'm a woman against all women at some point again.
You know who you are, and that's going in the shorts.
But you know, like especially in this group, this is a Christian marriage group. Mm-hmm. So your body is not your own. Your husband's body is not his own. Now, this isn't saying that you need to be a little puppet for their every move. But if you're, you know, wanting to dress the way you want, don't give a crap about your husband's opinion. Like, okay, why are you with your husband then?
Right.
Like,
yeah. Okay.
Or why are you seeking Christian advice on it if that's the way you feel when the Bible's pretty clear? Mm-hmm. And if you are a Christian, you need to be 100%.
It's interesting you feel that way because a lot of people would disagree just based on, like, again, a lot of people still feel like it's taken away their independence when people suggest that type of stuff. But she rolled her eyes. The camera's not on her, but she disagrees. In a way, I can respect both sides of the argument. It really comes down to figuring it out before you're married.
Yeah. I don't know. You're supposed to be dependent on your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
There's not supposed to be this, like, independent, like, I do what I want and da-da-da-da-da, and he don't tell me what to do.
Right.
Like, that's not even independence. That's just arrogance.
I agree. If you're like that, you probably shouldn't be married.
Right.
And I respect you for not getting married because you're not ready yet, or maybe it's just something you don't desire. I respect that. But, yeah, I don't think it's a submissive thing where it's like, no, you have to wear what I say because you're a submissive wife.
Right.
I don't even think that's the route to go about it either.
Right.
But I think communication...
Because it even says, do you wear what your husband suggests?
Mm-hmm. It's not.
It doesn't say... Do you allow your husband to force you to dress this way?
Do you remember when we read that post about, like, don't, dress like you're working in a what mill?
Posh mill?
A posh mill. Okay. So don't listen to that guy. Namu? I remember that. Namu. Don't listen to that guy. Okay, Namu's crazy.
Right. Okay. Right. Like, if he's going to extremes, telling you to dress like a nun or like you're one of the Amish, like, obviously... You don't need to be doing all that, but
again, if you don't rush and get married after a couple months, then that's something you'll figure out as time goes on. You give it half a year.
yeah, from the time we met.
I'm trying to help you here.
The date we met and our wedding date was literally 6 months apart.
Moving on. Okay. The short version of that is everyone's a hypocrite. All right. So, comments. Was there any specific ones you want me to highlight?
I just thought it was funny that there's a bunch of women saying no.
So, Sue says, nope, he doesn't suggest what I wear. Joshua comes in and says, same here.
Okay, sorry, that was funny.
Thank you, Josh.
I liked your facial expression more than anything. You're just like, the hell?
All right, thanks, Josh. I wasn't sure what you thought until you told me. April, that's a woman. I didn't ask him. Heck, I pick out his clothes too. Anonymous says, would you let him? She just said, I do. No, I know it's comfortable. Okay, so April says no, but she's talking practically like, you know, that shirt he picked out is not comfortable at all. So, respect. Okay. I wouldn't be comfortable saying, hey, pick this, pick that in a fashion sense, because women are built completely different from guys. This shirt is super comfortable. As dorky as it looks and how stupid I look, it feels great. I feel like I can breathe. It feels like it's cold. It's well insulated. It feels great. Okay. So, I would never tell my significant other what she needs to wear. I wouldn't even bother suggesting it. Unless she says, does this color make me look fat? In which case, the answer is yes.
Why'd you go that route? You guys said, does this color make my eyes pop?
Because girls don't ask that. I'm sorry. I don't know what fantasy world you live in where a girl asks if this makes her eyes pop. She asks if this makes her belly pop out of her shirt. Okay.
That's not a color thing most of the time, though.
I don't know what fantasy la la land you live in, where a woman's asking strictly, "Does this make my eyes pop?" That's not what they do. They ask
what I generally ask is, I'll be like, "Does this look good?" And Paul will be like, "Yeah," and I'll be like, "Does it match?" Okay. And he'll be like, "Yeah," or he'll be like, "Well,
your
maybe
gut's really sticking out."
Maybe like change your pants to gray pants. The green pants don't quite go with it, but it also doesn't look weird. And I'm like, okay.
We're almost out of time here, but Jennifer comes in and says, I quit doing what mine suggests. Okay, she used the one line quote and the 2-line quote for the next, the ending bracket. So she doesn't know anything about grammar. Since he could give less of an F, what I say. 21 years and I'm sure my marriage is over. Thank you, Jennifer.
That was helpful.
Yeah. Okay. I think there's more going on here than whether or not that shirt makes your eyes pop. I'm no marriage expert here. I'm no licensed counselor. Okay. Shout out to episode 3. But I think you have more going on than whether or not a shirt looks good on you. Tano says, no, I do ask him what his thoughts are sometimes, but that doesn't mean I'll change. Why are we getting so deep with this?
Why would you ask his thoughts if you're not going to change?
That change clothes or change my ways?
I think she means change her clothes.
Then why bother?
Right. Right. I understand if the only way I can imagine that is if she's asking his opinion in hopes that he agrees or praises her for it, where he's like, yeah, baby, that looks so good. And she's like, yeah, I know it does. But if he's like, no, I don't really like it. She's like, well, too damn bad.
I don't like
That's
these
what I
people.
Pictured, right?
Jill says, no. Tiffany says, nope, I'm my own person. Back to, nope, I'm independent.
Right.
I'm a strong woman. Okay. Thanks, Tiffany. 2 days ago. I'm assuming in those 2 days her husband left her.
Oh my God.
Jasmine says, yep, every time I shower, I'm wearing what he wants. And she says it just like that. Okay? Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Toyisha says, nah. He likes for me to look like a nun.
See, in that case, I understand.
Right.
In that case.
Yeah. I agree.
Right.
Okay, you need to look confident. You need to feel good in how you look. Okay, so I would have to agree with
Right.
Toyisha on that.
If you're emo and he's trying to get you to do girly girl dress.
Yeah.
Like I get if it's going, but like, you know,
Yeah.
if he's just like, hey, I think this would look really good on you.
I agree.
You should wear it. And she's just like, no.
She says, no.
Yeah.
I'm my own person. Okay. Oh, when I read Jasmine's in the funny voice, I totally ignored what she said. Every time I shower, I'm wearing what he wants. Ha! Good one. Good one, Jasmine. All right. I like what you did there. Okay. Wink. All right. I think we've hit all the wrong chords today. Okay. I'm very proud of this show and how poorly it turned out. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in this episode of Third Wheel at Night. Did I hit the yawn button last time when we introduced? Did I go? I don't know if I did. I think I did.
Why does it do that?
It just picks up where you left off, it looks like. So stop! And that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. Bye.